but I have a question, having worked with Native American issues through the Department of Veterans Affairs. It's been touching to me how we've come up with the nomenclature for post-traumatic stress disorder for our warriors who are now dealing with the effects of Vietnam, dealing with the effects of the current conflict that we're in. Do you know of any traditional ways, or how, I guess I would ask, was battle or PTSD treated by the Hawaiians? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, it wasn't an issue.
It wasn't an issue. Okay.
And I can tell you why. It's again because of that present moment orientation. See? This post-traumatic syndrome, which happens in war, but happens in lots of other kinds of situations as well, happens when people make a decision that they do not want this thing to have happened. And so they try to push it out of their minds, but the very pushing out of their minds keeps it in their mind. And there's a constant buildup of stress, of tension because of that, constant reinforcement of something terrible that happened. In the West, as well as in the East, to a great extent, a tremendous amount of importance culturally is given to the past. I mean, it's so much a part of the culture that we take it for granted and think that that's the way things are, when it's only a feature of our language. Okay? So when the past becomes so important, look at all of the anniversaries that people celebrate of tragedies. Okay? And yeah, they celebrate good anniversaries too, but there's this worshiping, practically, of the past. Now here you have people that didn't worship the past. Done, gone, that's it. There were no family feuds. They didn't have such a thing. You'd have individuals who might seek revenge within a given lifetime, but their kids surely didn't pay any attention to that whatsoever. And forgiveness was, they had all kinds of means for forgiving such disputes. So they had no, that kind of thing wasn't part of their culture, okay? Neither was the sense of guilt. The sense of doing wrong was, the solution was to start doing right. Seriously, I mean, it sounds too simple, but that's what you do. You don't dwell in remorse and unhappiness and all that kind of stuff. So because of the cultural base, that kind of problem didn't come up for them. Okay? Now, one of the biggest, I might as well mention something about the problem itself. The biggest part of the problem is that the memories are trying to be suppressed, which only keeps increasing layers of tension. And nothing is being resolved. There are ways today, some people have come up with other ways of doing it from other traditions, but there are ways in using Hawaiian concepts as well, whereby these layers can be peeled away, and in a very short time, this whole condition can be relieved. Now, one of these techniques I know of today that's been very successful in that has been it's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, by a man named Gary Craig. Had great success with veterans in Los Angeles. Okay? We have done a lot similar things with a technique that I've called Dynamine, based on 4 Hawaiian techniques, that does the same thing. Relieves the layers and changes the mind about. Now, I just want to say that there are ways to do this by changing the relationship to the memories. And it's not a hard process, and it can happen quite quickly. But in Hawaii, it wasn't an issue in the old days. Today, there are different kinds of post-traumatic syndrome in Hawaii because of the absorption of Western culture, which again lays so much emphasis on past events.